Some people ask me, what is my pitch? Okay, that's an imaginary conversation I've just had with myself. But as a small independent letting specialist agency, we do have to come in with a different angle, a different flavour to the corporate high street estate agency you'd see. The obvious pitch that we will do is that we are a lettings only agency, and there are very few lettings only agencies. Normally they are estate agents. So I definitely like to come with that angle that you will get a streamlined, dedicated provision of service. The focus is on renting your property. I also think that we don't come with an ulterior motive, because sometimes as an owner, you're asked, do you think it's a good time to sell? And for an estate agent, it's always a great time to sell, whatever market. And the buy-to-let game over the years has evolved. It's become, I guess, filled with more legislation. You've come all this way. Why would you want to consider selling now? Getting into the game now from fresh is probably less appealing. So you're already there at the party. I like to think that we can be more flexible, more approachable. We can give you a better quality of service because we can do things that the other corporate agents can't do. More accessible on the phone. Some estate agents don't like giving out their mobile number, believe it or not. Well, I certainly will. We can be contacted by WhatsApp. Property management as well. I think it requires a lot of skill. There are a lot of our landlords who are based abroad. Honestly, they just want an easy life. And whilst, getting the best rent is good, the most important thing that I always express on evaluation is that we get a nice quality tenant who always pays the rent on time. Because if you don't have that, you could get a really good punchy rent and you've set a little record for your property. Oh, I got the best rent. But if they are the tenant from hell, it was all a waste of time. And my colleague is laughing in the background, but it is true. So my pitch on that basis is we're not going after just getting some money from our landlords, because it will come back to bite us in the butt. I guarantee. I know so many big, larger corporate estate agents where they've got sort of battery hen chicken type negotiators all competing with each other, and it's like end of the month they just want to get their commission basically, and that's great for the corporate estate agent. But if you put in a wrong tenant, then the pain that can come in the after effect, a tenant who's really quite nasty, not paying their rent, not looking after the property, and it all just turns into an absolute mess. Better to slow it down. I'd actually rather lose out on renting a property up against another agent, and I know that it's a long game. We will be back another time, Mr. or Mrs. Landlord, in the future, in another year or 2 years. We will still be here. The negotiator that you were possibly dealing with from the big corporate estate agent, it's like a revolving door in the rental community. A lot of these negotiators, they move on, they change companies, and you're always dealing with the next person. That can get a little bit frustrating. You're always going to be dealing with the same people at our company because we're a small independent agency. So that's a good bonus as well. And over time, I like to think the proof in the pudding, we do show it, because it's just nice to know who you're dealing with. If you are an international landlord based abroad, you just want an easy life, you want to trust that person, they're going to deal with it. Property management, dealing with all the things, trusting that when tradespeople and maintenance needs to be done in their property, that the costings are all good and above board. Some agents as well do take secret commissions, I'll be frank, markups on tradespeople and different companies, external companies they use to make little extra bits of profit. We don't do that. The reason being is, how can I possibly get the best tradesperson versus the cost? Tradespeople, I deal with all manner of them. You get what you pay for. But what I'm always seeking for is the value, is getting a tradesperson who's got very good reputation versus the cost equals the output of the performance of the work that they do. And I don't see how that can be done if you are adding on an extra 10-20% on top and charging landlords an arm and a leg basically. So these are the types of things I will be pitching on evaluation, and just being in touch with the landlord, keeping them up to speed. I like to think at this time in my life and experience, I'm one of the first agents when I'm marketing against another agent. I will often go first and I will put my stamp out there and I'll say, I think you need to reduce the price. I've seen a change in the marketplace. I'm going in early. I'm advising you that the tide is turning. Come with me. I'm right. I'm basically calling it, and we need to reduce the price. Whereas I think a lot of agents are guilty of telling an owner what they want to hear. You can get this price. Okay, we'll instruct you. And then they get the property on the market. That's great. But then nothing's happening. And actually they priced it wrong. But they did that to get the instruction. Now, I will work with a landlord and I will tend to say, here's what I think. If you've got aspirations for more, okay, you've been told by another agent that you could get, okay, let's go with that. I've told you what I thought. Let's be optimistic. We might get a nice surprise. But after 1, 2 or 3 weeks, if we're not getting enough viewings, I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's really simple, it's supply and demand. If people aren't picking up the phones to call in, it means your property is probably overpriced and it could benefit from a price correction in the marketplace. And I think the sooner you can do that, you will get respect from your client, your owner. And the estate agent who is giving it all the talk in the beginning of big prices, etc., then the credibility that you earn from that is never forgotten. And it comes back to, we want viewings so that we've got a pool of candidates that we can be picky about. If we're not picky about the pool of tenant candidates, we've got an issue, because we're only going to select, we become desperate. We've only got a couple to select, maybe one, and we go with it and they turn out to be really not great tenants. So it all feeds into that 360 on that. So I hope this helps. That's kind of where we come from with our experience and pitching to landlords. Hope this helps. All the best.